was great when he did
Come give it to me, Jeff. Come on, man.
I gave him a printout of your.
Already got all your stuff printed out. Appreciate it.
Just a few extra seconds.
10's enough?
10,
15?
15 is almost.
15 at the most? All right, I'm going to hold you to 15 seconds, Joe. we don't want this thing getting off the rails now.
No, well, it's really kind of hard to see some of the things that I have.
I will tell you that some of the questions that you have on there, we're going to pick what you're asking for because we're a Larson. We fall under the Larson. So the thing about the difference between the city council and the planning commission and who has jurisdictional authority over making all orders now, that's the state law. That has nothing to do with that. That's right. 100% accurate.
So most of what I've written is basically.
Joe, everything you write is 100% acceptable, trust me. However, and I understand the confusion that people in EBR have because EBR is under a local charter, right? So they have authority to change things, correct things a
I
little
just
bit
thought it was
easier.
undermining you guys.
Joe, I don't look. If it was up to me, I would have it a different way. And that's why we try to pass a local charter election. But currently, the way it falls is that under the Larson Act, and that's just.
Anyway, I guess.
Look, I'll just tell you this would be a fun one. Don't think anything will be active. So there's a lot more opportunity to have discussion. Probably would be a recommendation to defer on this. It's a really hard you guys should be your I forwarded the deal to our planning attorney, and that was the response I gave you back that under the Larson Act, this is the way. It's up to you. I mean, I can call your name when the time comes.
What about the points that I
I don't remember all of them. I just know that one. There's no difference. There's no out there. The other one's acceptable. So I have to ask why exactly they changed the verbiage on that. It doesn't change the statutory definition. Both those things are not.
But I was worried too that when you say unit, it's not going to decide.
Single family. Single family unit.
Oh, yeah, that's the website. Yeah, find it.
But I can get it from them. We're gonna have to. So don't worry about it.
I don't know if I want to say anything.
Look,
Because I thought I was,
I'll ask you if you don't put anything, you don't have to, but I can be on this.
That's the best way.
But what I meant is about deferring it, putting it all final decision.
I can assure you that that's what the recommendation we took the vote. I think everybody's on that.
I think I've got enough on y'all's plate.
I don't, look, if I gotta start, I don't wanna not start on that. All right, everybody, welcome. St. George City Council, regular meeting agenda, February 24th, 2026, 5 p.m., St. George Fire Department, 14100 Airline Highway, St. George, Louisiana, 70817. We will call this meeting to order. As always, we will stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilman Edmonds, invocation.
Bow for prayer. Our gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for all the wonderful people that are here. We thank you for the city of St. George and its council. Lord, be with our state, be with our country. It's in your name that we pray. And everybody said,
Amen.
A lot of assumptions right there. He said, don't do the usual. The abridged version.
All right, roll call. Councilman Merrill.
Yep.
Councilman Talbot.
Here.
Councilman Edmonds.
Here.
Councilwoman Cook.
Here.
Councilman Himmel.
Here.
Councilman DeLucci. Here. Councilman Monticello is still absent. We have a quorum, and we can move on. Approval of minutes of the February 10th, 2026 council meeting. All council members have received these minutes and reviewed them. Council?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve by Cook, second by Himmel. Any opposition? Hearing none, minutes have been approved. Monthly financials, Brandon?
Thank you, Mayor, Council, community members. Before us, we have the January 2026 finance report. On the second page is our balance sheet. Just shows total assets, liabilities, and fund balance. If we skip over to page 3, total revenue for the month of January is $4.9 million. That does include a $4 million accrual for sales taxes. We don't have that January actual number yet. We'll get that in March. If we go back 1 month for December, we just got that actual number for December in the month of February. Recently, that number is $4.5 million, so that's a really good number there. That shows the holiday shopping. If we look at our total percent of revenue compared actual to budget, we're at 54.41%. We're 7 months through the fiscal year. So, our parameter there is 58.33. So running a little bit under that by 3.9%, but still in good shape to hit our budget number there. If we skip over to page 7, that shows our total expenditures. Total expenditures for the month of January was 3.9. So we're looking at a $960,000 to the good revenues over expenses for the month of January. And that total percent budget to actual so far this year, we're at 40% through our budgeted expenditures. So well under the 58.33%. So we're in really good shape there. If y'all have any questions, be happy to answer.
So, is it your report that we are still running a surplus in the city of St. George?
Yes, sir, absolutely. So the total surplus so far this year, our total revenues to date for the fiscal year is $31.9 million, and our total expenditures are $17.8 million. So we're running a $14 million surplus right now.
Thank you, Brandon.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Thank y'all.
All right, Public Works.
Lane is out this week, so I'm stepping in for him. My name's Thomas Heath. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for entertaining my report this evening.
Real quick, hit the button.
There you go.
Thank you.
We have a little slideshow that I understand we usually put on for you guys. Roughly speaking, our numbers are above our projected metric expectations. We're above schedule, so to speak, and we're making good progress. We're also in the process of streamlining our efficiency, taking work tickets, service orders, and going out in the field and investigating So you'll see, first slide, these are some just examples of the repairs we've been making to the storm systems. Nothing crazy, out in the field work. We've completed this month, which is not complete yet. I believe the number is 81. I'm sorry, 50. 50 of the point repairs. Next slide, please. This is an example of some culverts and ditches that we've maintained. Drain pipe. So here's the numbers for the month, and it's not a complete month. You can see we've had 227 incoming and obviously 272 completed. We've also processed another 134 investigations and got them into the system. So we're ahead of the game right now, and we're playing catch up from some of the past days. Those are the rough numbers. Roadside excavations, you see we really crunch the numbers. We did over 7,000 feet of that. And we obtained some new equipment to assist us in cleaning out the culverts as well. So we're moving up, and I will say that it's nice to talk to residents who put in a request for a service call, and 3 days later we're out there looking around, and they're happy. I've never gotten shooed off of a site yet. Did you have any questions?
You're doing a great job.
Very good, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we have a presentation from Chief Darlington from the St. George Fire Department. Chief?
Mayor and council members and members of the public, thanks for allowing me to speak. I would sorry, can you hear me now? Thanks for allowing me to speak. If I'm mumbled, just let me know. As you know, the St. George Fire Department, the fire district is bigger than the city of St. George. We cover a much larger area and probably 125,000 people. We're a Class 1 department. We've been in operation since 1967. This is a view of some fun facts of what happened last year. We dispatch ourselves and 4 other departments throughout the parish. 93% of our emergency calls answered within 64 seconds, which meets more than the standards that we need to meet. The incidents we processed was 24,643, and that's including the other departments. Our busiest day last year was 100 calls in 24 hours. We rocked and rolled, literally. Our daily average is 69. Our St. George responses ourselves are 13,856 calls last year, which gives us a daily average of almost 38. Last year, we were successfully awarded a federal grant to purchase mechanical CPR devices. A mechanical CPR device allows us to do CPR, which unfortunately we do a lot. We place this device on the patient, it's more efficient. The attendees can also do more things to the patient. The survival rate is higher. There's a lot of good stories that came out of this process. And it enhances our cardiac responsibility. And speaking of that, 5 years ago, we started hiring paramedics. We have paramedics on some of our trucks now. We have about 80 advanced EMTs, which is very close to the level. Since you'll see on the next sheet, our responses, most of what we do is medically related. The ultimate goal will to have at least a paramedic in every truck and a bunch of advanced EMTs. In fact, at our board meeting Thursday night, the board will approve a purchase of 6 more cardiac monitors. We'll have a cardiac monitor on every truck in the district that responds, which is going to be a very efficient thing. And advanced life support care is what happens in the rest of the country at the fire department level, and we should be no different. And unfortunately, sometimes the system in EBR is not the most pleasant, and it fails our citizens, and we forget sometimes while we're here. But if you look on the next page, our 2025 incidents, total 13,853. If you look at down there toward the medical, it shows a number of 56.94%. When you roll in motor vehicle accidents, which many times are medical call also, more of a trauma, and lift assist many times also roll over to a medical call. Probably about 75% of what we do is medical related. And we obviously adjust our care to that level. Moving forward in terms of our people, we had 71,000 plus training hours completed last year. We hired 17 newly certified firefighters. We teach and train our people on our site. We have one of the best programs in the state, if not the region. 49% of our workload, this is a number that's unheard of in this fire service in Louisiana. 49% of our workload has a college degree. To receive promotions here, you have to have a minimum of associate degree in fire science. We actually have an articulation agreement with Columbia Southern University where the courses, the certifications we teach, our people teach, goes toward college credit for our employees' degree. And we hope to improve and bring that whole program into our department at some point in time as we grow. Fortunately, unfortunately, in my time here, which has been a very long time, as most of you know, we continue to grow. In terms of fire prevention investigations, we did at least 8,200 inspections last year. 70% of the arson arrest rate. We have never lost a case in court. Our people do a great job, and that's due to their dedication and training also. Training in all aspects is very important in the business that we do. In our community risk reduction program, 18,000 plus community members are educated on fire safety and risk reduction. 291 homes made safe with smoke alarms and safety checks, which we do for free. We supply the smoke alarms. People just call our office. We're happy to respond. So if you want to spread that word, every day you read an article somewhere in this country, somebody dies because they didn't have a working smoke alarm in their house. We do car seat checks. We have some technicians. We actually do car seat classes here where we teach the parents of new children to how to put their kids in a car seat. If you saw the media or the news about a week ago, a 1-year-old fell off a pickup truck. That child was not, and run over, that child was not restrained, obviously. They have to go through this class, and when they do, they get some free items in our little trailer in the back. Baby wipes, bed diapers, some clothing, and things like that. Those things that are donated for this program. That's become a very good and effective program. Our incident management team is probably the only credentialed team in the state of Louisiana. We have been deployed through other events in the Carolinas and Florida, where we actually ran the operation for those counties. This past winter, recently, Colorado and Aspen, we were asked to participate in the IMT for Aspen for the Winter Games in Aspen, which is a privilege, I think, and an honor. We have presented this in conferences across this country, being an incident management team. In closing, simply, we have a very dedicated department. They're highly trained and motivated. They do a great job, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I'm gonna embarrass you here a little bit, Chief.
Please.
I'm sorry. Chief, when did you start the St. George Fire Department?
1977. My first day was a flood, by the way.
1977. And when were you appointed fire chief of St. George Fire Protection District?
January 1987.
How many full-time employees did St. George have on the day that you were appointed?
3.
And you were one of them, correct?
Yes, correct.
That's correct. And since then, and to today, how many full-time employees do you have now in the St. George Fire District?
Roughly 240.
240, okay. I know for one, and I'll just say this, that the call volume that you see here on the sheet, when I first started in 2006, our call volume was roughly about 7,000 calls a year. So in a 20-year time span, that call volume has doubled, and the work required has doubled. You brought up the fact that half of the workforce here has a college degree, and how common is that in the fire service in Louisiana?
Not common at all.
Not very common, right?
And by the way, not to interrupt you, but as you well know, we're criticized for that.
I'm aware. And then I just want to touch part on the medical part of it. You made reference to the fact that 75% of our calls here medically are related to some type of medical issue. And because of that, and because some of the other things that have gone on in the parish, what have you done here over the last 6 or 7 years in order to better serve the residents of St. George?
What have we done? Well, going back to the paramedics, we have hired paramedics that are also firefighters. We have 5 or 6 in school right now. We pay their tuition and they come out. They operate as a paramedic. Think of the world where that fire truck usually is there within 6 minutes or less. And stepping off of that truck is at least one paramedic and 3 or 4 or 2 or 3 advanced EMTs, which is almost to that level. The outcomes the positive outcomes that we have seen since that day when people call me and say, I'm alive because of that, is unbelievable. And you don't have that throughout the state. You have pockets of it that have programs like that up in Shreveport, sometimes on the North Shore. You have a little bit of it. In other states, it's very common. It's just the way things are. In Louisiana and in Mississippi, it's probably not.
Thank you, Chief. Does anybody else have anything else for the Chief?
Thank y'all. And I take that applause for our people, because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be where we are. Thank you. And there's a copy of this report on the back.
All right, number 9 here for preliminary business. There were a presentation from BREC that will be deferred until March 10th. And they will come and present on some things that are coming to St. George in regard to BREC. At this time, I'll bring up Chief Morris to give a little bit of public safety update on some of the things we're doing with our law enforcement partners.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. Yeah, just kind of give a little monthly update on the activities that we've been doing on our public safety initiative with our partners. We'll get a slide presentation here in a minute. Continue works very well with the kind of multi-phase approach that we've got working with our homelessness initiative with Keep Tigertown Beautiful, Ms. Jennifer, the Grove Recovery Center, the Sheriff's Office on the extra duty detail deputies that we have in place, and it's really kind of continued to go very well. We get a lot of positive comments about they can definitely see the difference, the homelessness lack of in the Siegen area, Bluebine area, so we're very pleased with the numbers of that. Jade, if you go to the next little slide, please. From the enforcement side, so far through date, with our extra duty detail, we've had 254 contacts. As we know, we offer them assistance initially, then they do a NCIC check. They got warrants on them. We've arrested 17. We've issued 55 summonses. We've recovered a missing person, and over 12 funded crimes have been solved by their activity with our homelessness that we come in contact with. In our Grove Recovery Center, so far we've had 76 homeless persons accepted assistance from us. 45 have entered the Grove Recovery Program, which we know that is a multifaceted approach from inpatient to a 13-week and then transition to a job and help and then housing also too. So it's just a multifaceted approach. And we've had 11 taken up on a medical facility into that, and we've purchased 20 bus tickets for individuals that had a place to go, and we've spoken to someone, and we know where they're going. We're just not buying a bus ticket and send them off to a city. They have to have someone there where they're going to, and that has been verified. So that's continued to work out very well. And then next slide. And then, of course, Miss Jennifer, we can't say enough about Miss Jennifer, our partner on Keep Tigertown Beautiful. So far, we've cleaned up 40 encampments within the city of St. George since we started this initiative. And you think about that, that's a lot of encampments that was taking place here in the city of St. George. And now that we have our DPW, St. George DPW folks here helping us with that now since we've got them up and running with us. So it takes all of us to do that. And then we talk about our on-scene services, our public-private partnership, and working the crashes in the city of St. George. So far, year of date, they've handled, you look at over 1,900 different type of incidences, 820 crashes, 24 of those with injuries, 128 private property crashes, traffic incidents up to 224, and that could be just assisting, could be a broke down car, a flat tire, any type of traffic incident. Follow-ups, they've had 7, they've done 183 different part checks. We started having to do that the past couple of months. You know, we have them strategically placed in areas based on the data where crashes normally occur. And if they're not working a crash and they have time, we want them to go and check on our brake parks and have a presence there. They've handled 46 parking complaints. They've done 476 neighborhood patrols. And they've handled 3 junk cars. So that continues to be, you know, positive numbers for us with good data that we show the results of that, and it's been a very good partnership. What I have also too, if you have any questions, last month I had Louisiana State Police come and had them speak about the OSS and what they thought the benefits were of that or not. This time I've had Captain Jeff Rohilla, he's the traffic commander for the Sheriff's Office. If he'd like to come up and say a few words about the pros and the cons of OSS and hear it from our public safety partners and just not from Todd. So, Captain Rohilla, you mind coming up, please?
I don't talk as fast as Chief Morris. I know some of you, David. I'm going to bore you with a few numbers just for a second to get to the end point. As Chief Morris stated earlier, OSS started in September 26 of 2025. The number of crashes and call volume that we had before them with a limited number of personnel, which it's not unique to East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office. It's a thing across the country, law enforcement as a whole. It's a manpower crisis. So East Baton Rouge, we continue to rank among the highest parishes in Louisiana for fatalities and crashes with injuries. From January 1 to December 31st, our records indicate 4,516 total crashes, 274 of those involved a fatality or serious injury. That's pretty time consuming when it comes to investigating those types of crashes. I'm going to give you some tier 1, basically, is kind of our crashes over 100 count number of crashes in particular areas throughout the parish. The highlighted ones that I have, and I apologize, I don't have a slideshow, but these areas are south of Florida Boulevard. So just in that 1 year period, in Segan Lane, we had 525 crashes. Bluebonnet Boulevard had 451 crashes. Burbank Drive, 210. Perkins Road, 198. Highland Road, 183. O'Neill Lane had 121. Jefferson Highway was 113. Coursey Boulevard was 101. Old Hammond was 110. And Jones Creek was 101. Now, obviously, that's not the total numbers because the rest of these roadways are north of Florida Boulevard and are not really impacting this infrastructure here. Of those crashes that we had, the fatalities and serious bodily injury crashes, Segan Lane was number 1. Okay, we had 36. That ranges from pedestrians to motor vehicles to motorcycles. Bluebonnet Boulevard had 27. Perkins had 21. Highland Road had 16. Burbank 14. Coursey 8. And O'Neill had 8. So going and looking at all these numbers, it's broken down into the months, the time of days, and all of this information was shared when Chief Morris and Tucker, who y'all stole from me, by the way, used to work for me. I'm still a little upset about it. So these were numbers that, we had to sit down and discuss. What are the peak times? What are the peak days? When are we going to need the most traffic enforcement? So when I've been in law enforcement for 30 years, I'm a third generation cop, and I've seen a lot of changes over the years. To computers in the cars, that was the coolest thing, I thought. To radios that only, talk to one department and not everybody across the state. But one of the most unique things I was introduced to was this OSS program. I had a lot of questions. I'm an old school cop, and I believe in pen and paper, and the police handle the crashing, and that's how it is. And we had 3 or 4 meetings to discuss this with our partners, the state police, here in this very room. I can tell you that when they started, there was an immediate difference, okay, for us. We are just like your constituents in your areas. You get complaints about certain things. We get those a lot, okay, whether it be on phone calls or on computer. They complain about speeders and so on and so forth. With a limited number of people at that time, when I first took over, I had 3. I'm up to 10 now, and it was a blessing to get OSS around the same time that I was increasing my manpower, because it gave me time to start focusing on the enforcement side of things. These numbers reflect 0 enforcement action or 0 proactive action, because we didn't have the manpower to do it. And we were going call to call to call to call, and primarily this general area south of Airline Highway. So since that time, since they've taken over or began to assist us with these crashes, our numbers have drastically changed. I have been able to deploy personnel to the north side of the parish now. So I run an entire squad north and an entire squad south. And that's something that we haven't been able to do in, probably 20-ish years. I don't think that they knew on the north side of the parish that we had a motorcycle division. So since September till today, essentially, there has been a difference of 511. What that means is we worked 463. They worked 511. That's more than half. What that does is that gives us a chance to get back into the enforcement role. It gives us a chance to get back into complaints of speeders, school zones, so on and so forth, reinforcing public safety. So OSS has been very beneficial for us here at the Sheriff's Office. Anybody have any questions? Or yes, sir.
Captain, thank you so much for coming here tonight. Being a new program, and I know there was lots of questions of the Sheriff's Office, the State Police, and also our residents as well, because it's new, it's something different, right? So you brought up one thing that I think is important for people to understand, is that law enforcement shortages are not unique to this area, right? This is a national issue, and not to be coy or funny about it, but there's no tree that I can go to when I need 10 extra officers and shake the tree and 10 officers fall out, right? So I think the point of that is that we have to start looking a little bit differently at alternatives in order to put your guys back to where they need to go.
Correct.
And the second part I wanted to highlight here, and I'm glad that you brought it up. So OSS has not just been a benefit to St. George. If I heard you correctly, OSS has proven to be a benefit for the entire parish.
Correct.
Correct. So not just a benefit to I'll say it again, not just a benefit to the city of St. George residents, but benefits to people in the northern part of the parish that maybe, and it weren't underserved because you didn't want to serve them, right?
Yeah, so that was my plan. So when OSS became, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Was that, just because you live on the north side of the parish, you're paying the same taxes as everyone else, how fair is it that, the south side of the parish gets additional resources that you as a taxpayer on the north side of the parish are also paying for? So having OSS come in and begin to take a lot of that workload off of us, we've been able to reallocate manpower to that side of the parish, north of Florida Boulevard. And it's been overwhelmingly received. It's been great. So I apologize again.
No, you're good. This is your show here. We appreciate the information. I just wanted people to understand that this is something that we have said from the very beginning and in every aspect of the city of St. George, that if we can do things a little bit differently, and if we find ways and alternatives that maybe other people have not been able to do, that this is not just going to be a benefit to the city of St. George, that this will be a parish benefit. And thank you for acknowledging that here this evening. That's all I have. Council?
Anyone? David? Okay.
Thank you, Captain.
Thank you, sir.
I thought David had a question.
All right, introductions. Number one, ordinance regulating donation activities, prohibiting unauthorized donation drop-offs, establishing operational requirements for donation center, declaring certain conditions of public nuisance, providing for enforcement, liability, and penalties, and otherwise providing with respect thereto. Number two, ordinance to amend Title IX, Chapter 1 of the St. George Code of Ordinances to provide relative to occupational licenses for veteran-owned business and to provide for related matters. Items for public hearing and action. Number one, ordinance to amend Title 12, Chapters 5, 8, and 11 relative to the elimination of blight and to provide for related matters. Councilman Murrow, did you want to say something on this?
Sure. Essentially, this is to provide a notice requirement for enforcing some of the what I'll call lighter blight issues. And this is overgrown vegetation, weeds, dilapidation, some abandoned structures. These are either lighter issues like high grass or issues that present a public health, safety, welfare issue so that our code enforcement can get in there and our public works department can remediate the problem so it doesn't grow into an exponential problem. And so basically this is to create a different notice requirement for that issue.
Thank you, Councilman. This is a public item. If anybody chooses to speak on this item, that would be your time. See no one, we'll close the public comment period at this time. Council.
I had one in my area that I think it took 3 containers to empty the yard, and we left, or they left, 3 boats and trailers and a car there, and gave the guy he's having to pay us to clean it up. And I heard today that 2 of his neighbors walked over there and told him he did a good job. I think he took credit for it, but I think they saw it different. But with us going out there and cleaning up these blight houses, it's like a big difference on Airline Highway. You don't see trash in the city of St. George or on Hooshtoo Road, Tiger Bend Road. You don't see trash anymore. You don't see trash where this guy lives anymore, as of now. So I think it's going to make a big difference where we're going by pushing this blight law. It's going to help a lot for the city of St. George.
Mayor, if I could add to it a little bit, it does require an advertising requirement for the notice. But it also, Richie, you threw me off. Thanks, Richie. But really, it's about cutting down that process, ironically with grass, but cutting the process down so we can remediate it before it gets to a point where it's beyond a health hazard, beyond a public safety component, and it becomes something even worse. And this allows us to get to these issues a little faster.
I'll move. Motion by Councilman Talbot,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Cook. Any opposition? Hearing none, item has been adopted. Item number 2, ordinance to amend Title 6, Chapter 1, and to enact Title 6, Chapters 4 and 5 relative to fire prevention and protection, and to provide for inspections, fire alarm systems permits, and regulations for flammable, explosive, and hazardous materials. I'll take a little bit of personal privilege on this one. So this ordinance came to us from St. George Fire Protection District's Chief of Fire Prevention, Chief Dwayne Ardnell. For those of you that never had the opportunity to meet Dwayne, Dwayne attended quite a few of our council meetings, played an integral role in the formation of just about all of our ordinances and things that we have adopted over the last year that involves fire prevention, inspections. Chief Ardno was the point person on the ordinance side that helped us develop the ordinance that allowed us to rid our area of illegal massage parlors, which had a direct effect on ending human trafficking and sex trafficking that was taking place within the city limits of St. George. Chief Ardno spent his entire life as a public servant, better part of 40 years, starting as a volunteer firefighter, where he grew up on the West Bank of New Orleans, and then eventually matriculating his way up here to St. George, where he spent the last 26 years. He started out as a firefighter, worked his way through the ranks, was part of our original crew of people that developed our special operations program here, was one of the original captains on one of those trucks. Then he truly went into his calling, and his calling was fire prevention. I don't know if you made note when the fire chief said that we have a 70% arrest rate for all arsons that take place in the city of St. George, which is double the national average. That's unheard of. It's unheard of. And of all cases that have gone to court, we have lost 0. And that is a direct reflection on Chief Dwayne Ardno. And since his time as being the chief of fire prevention, what they've been able to do with that group has not only made a significant impact to the fire district, but to the city of St. George and the residents that live here. Of the 26 years he was here, I was here with him for 20. A man of impeccable character, impeccable integrity. You knew exactly where you stood with Dwayne. He was as a straight shooter as you could get, and truly the definition of what a public servant is. It's unfortunate that we lost Dwayne on Sunday. Dwayne passed away tragically. He will forever be remembered, and he will forever be missed, not only by the St. George Fire Protection District, but also the city of St. George. His legacy will live far past his end with us here on earth on Sunday. We pray for Dwayne. We pray for his family left behind. And that's all I have. This is a public comment item, so if anybody from the public would choose to speak on this item, that would be your time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. Council?
Make a motion.
Motion to approve by Himmel,
Second.
second by Merle. Any opposition? Seeing none, item has been approved. Item 3, to amend Title VII Unified Development Code to establish new base zoning districts, update allowed uses and dimensional standards, and reorganize some sections, rezone all property in the city to the new base zoning districts, and to provide for related matters. Zoning Commission vote, motion to recommend approval with the amendment provided by staff and a handout at the meeting by Travis Thornton, second by Marion. Yeas were Thornton, Marion, McAllister, McKee, Aguilar. Nays were 0. Motion passed, and T-26-0001 and Z-26-0001 were recommended for approval with amendments. I'll call Brian Dixon, our planning director, up here. Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. With this particular amendment to Title VII for the Unified Development Code, essentially what we were looking to do was to decrease the total number of zoning districts from 45 to 17 to simplify our code a little bit more and also come into our own identity as a new city. As of some recent meetings that we have had with stakeholders and some local organizations, I asked that we defer this item until our August meeting, August 28th, to allow us time to get more public feedback from local stakeholders as well as some of our local organizations, if that is okay with you guys.
Did you say we're going to defer till August 28th?
I'm sorry, April.
April 28th.
April 28th.
All right, Brian, thank you.
No problem. Did you want me to go into any detail of?
I think you're good, unless somebody else has a question for Brian.
Probably more prudent to come back in April and do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, not always. We're patient, we're not that patient.
All right.
All right, thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
This is a public item on the agenda. You heard the recommendation from the planning director. If anybody here so chooses to speak on this item, that will be your time. I'm seeing none. We'll close the public comment period this time. Council?
Motion to defer to the second meeting in April.
Motion to defer to the second meeting in April by Councilman Evans, second by Himmel. Any opposition? Hearing none, item has been deferred. Number 4, resolution authorizing Mayor Yates to enter into emergency medical call-taking services agreement with Acadian Ambulance and to provide for related matters. I want to bring up the fire chief here to kind of give an overview on what exactly it is that we're doing here, so everybody has a full understanding. of this resolution. Chief?
Hello again. Our situation right now, when you call 911, it goes to Harding Boulevard. That's where the public safety answering point for the parish is, and the backup is Baker. This agreement will allow us, St. George Fire Department, to become a secondary or primary PSAP for the city of St. George and the city of Central. We currently dispatch the Central Fire District as we do two other departments. So what that means is when you live in the city of St. George, that phone call is going to go to this building right here. It's not going to go to Harding Boulevard. It's not going to get in a convoluted process of being coded and slowed down and dispatched. It's coming here. And what the law says for communication districts is they're supposed to answer the phone, 911, what is your emergency, and transfer that call to the appropriate responding agency. So let's assume it's a call for the sheriff's office in Cheneyville. Well, that call would be transferred to Cheneyville, to the sheriff's office. If it's a medical component to it, we would dispatch a Cheneyville Fire Department, as we do today. If it's a call for St. George, obviously we dispatch our units, and the rest goes wherever. If it has to go to EMS, we transfer it to EMS. And that's kind of the reverse of what's happening now. If you call 911 today, it goes to Harding Boulevard. EMS happens to be the call takers, and they also dispatch it for EMS. The call taking process and the dispatching process is mixed together, and it should not be, in my opinion. You can reduce the time the caller is on the phone with the call taker. Therefore, you can reduce the response times it takes for responders to get to the entity. What this agreement does is it allows the city of St. George to receive funding from the communication district to pay for the call takers, which probably will be supplied by Acadian Ambulance. Those call takers will be in our building. They will be managed by our people, but they'll be paid through Acadian. It's going to be a great process. It's going to improve response times for a lot of these calls, and I believe that what you'll see is, unfortunately, in these agreements now, because EMS is the other PSAP, we sign these agreements, and there are metrics that you have to meet based on the standards, where currently that doesn't apply. It will apply, and I think what you'll see is we will be able to smoke them literally on call taking time, processing time. So that's kind of what it's about. It's a better process, and I've said this for years because when we moved our communication people here, because we were on Harding Boulevard in a place called Communications where people likely didn't communicate well. I hate to say that publicly, but that is in fact what happens. They will be here. It'll be a quicker process. It's better for the public. And if 911 goes down on Harding, we back them up. If we go down, they back us up. Currently, when it goes down, it's just down. You know, the call may be transferred to a surrounding parish who will take the information and put it on paper, pick up the phone and call them through an administrative line to give them the data. That's what's happened in most of the floods. It becomes overloaded, it goes down, and these calls are rerouted and then routed back via a physical phone call. So now you'll have redundancy throughout the whole parish, not just here, that if something happens to one of us, we get busy, system goes down, a plane crashes on us, whatever, you have another system that can pick it up. We utilize the same CADs, the same computer-aided dispatch program. We have a CAD to CAD program that's being updated. A new 911 system is being installed as we speak. I think EMS goes live this week. It might be tomorrow. We've already been on the system for about a month now. We haven't had any issues with it. So it's going to be a much better process. It's better for everybody, in particular the public. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
I got two small questions for you, Chief. How much additional taxpayer funding is necessary to accomplish this?
Zero.
Zero. So no extra cost to the taxpayers at St. George or anywhere else, correct?
That's correct.
And then I'm pretty sure that I understood you the correct way. The redundancy issue is not just a benefit to the residents of St. George, but it's also a benefit to East Baton Rouge Parish, right?
Correct.
Correct. All right, thank you.
All right.
Chief, real quick, will this save lives?
Absolutely, in my opinion.
Motion to approve.
Thank you, Chief. This is a public item. That being such, if anybody chooses to speak on this item, that'll be your time. You gotta do it from up here. Sorry.
Come on, Keith. Hit the button.
Keith Farbois, 3726 Pine Park Drive, St. George, Louisiana. I've seen a lot of resolutions authorizing Mayor Yates. When Mayor Yates becomes governor and there's another mayor, does this have to go through the same process?
I take issue with one of those comments.
Okay.
Sherry?
Sherry, I really don't even know how to answer that.
So, this is a contract, and so, for the contract to be initiated, it'll be signed by Mayor Yates. So it will not have to be re-signed. Any, successor in office is gonna take over
Okay.
the contracts, and the names don't have to be changed necessarily.
Thank
Get rid of you already.
you. Yes, sir. Any other public comments on this item?
How can I say it?
Seeing none, we'll close the public
How can I
comment
say
period
it?
this time.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve. by Smith. Second by Cook. Any opposition? Seeing none, item has been approved. Item number 5, resolution authorizing Mayor Yates to enter into a cooperative endeavor agreement with City Parish and Purpose Church to fund opioid abatement initiatives. So, our parish receives opioid settlement funds every year. So this was something that comes down from the federal government and eventually makes its way down to local jurisdictions. The provider for it here in this parish is the city parish. So for the last 5 or 6 months, maybe the middle part of last year really, all the mayors in the parish got together, we met, and we discussed and we decided where some of these funds were going to go. The lion's share of the funds through this went to the district attorney's office. Then every city had the opportunity to put in requests to access some of these funds that would have a direct benefit in their area. To go back to what Chief Morris was referring to earlier, and some of the issues that have faced on Seegan Lane and other places, opioid issues are a major problem in this parish, and we're no different than anywhere else. So what I requested was $160,000 in opioid settlement funds, and those settlement funds will be used in partnership with Purpose Church, Pastor Chad Dinkle, who's a St. George resident. And what those funds will be utilized for is that he is going to outfit a bus that was donated to him with resources, equipment, things that he can get into some of the areas that we have where we know that people are suffering from chemical dependency, and provide resources to them and try to serve as a vessel, literally and figuratively, to get these people out of where they're at and get them into recovery programs. So pretty excited about it. It's been coming for a while now, and we're finally at the point where we can pull the trigger. So that's what this resolution accomplishes. So this is a public item. If anybody chooses to speak on this, now would be the time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period this time. Council. Motion by Councilman Talbot. Second by Councilman Himmel. Any opposition? Hearing none, item has been approved. Number 6, resolution to adopt City of St. George SMS texting privacy policy and text messaging terms. The spirit of this is that in order for us to enact any type of text messaging system where our residents opt into receiving text messaging updates, mainly in the event of natural disaster, emergency operations, things of that nature, you as a resident, first off, have to opt into it. Us as a city, we have to adopt a policy to make sure that we're adhering to our policy in order to make this all legal. Correct, Sherry?
Correct.
Okay. So that's the spirit of that. This is a public item. If anybody from the public would like to speak on this, now would be your time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. Council?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve by DeLucci.
Second.
Second by Murrow. Any opposition? Hearing none, item has been approved. Final item under action, resolution authorizing Mayor Yates to approve and execute the PQ Property Development Agreement between the City of St. George and PQ Properties, LLC. This is a standard development agreement. We've conversed with our staff. There are no adverse recommendations here. The recommendation is for us to approve and move forward. That's what it is. So this is a public item. If anybody from the public chooses to speak on this, now would be your time. Seeing none, we'll close the public comment period. Council?
Motion approved.
Motion to approve by
Second.
Galucci,
Second.
second by Edmonds. Any opposition? Hearing none, resolution is approved. Other business announcements. Comprehensive Plan 2050 Stakeholder Dialogue will be this Sunday, 2026, from 2 to 4 at Grace Life Fellowship. Next city council meeting will be Tuesday, March 10th, 2026 at 5 p.m. The following meeting will be Tuesday, March 24th, 2026 at 5 p.m. Next Board of Adjustment meeting will be March 2nd, 2026 at 5 p.m. Planning Commission meeting will be Monday, March 2nd, 2026, 6 p.m. Zoning Commission meeting Monday, March 2nd, 2026 at 6 p.m. Next administrative hearing will be Friday, March 6th, 2026 at 9 a.m. And then following that administrative hearing will be Friday, March 20th, 2026 at 9 a.m. That is all that I have. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve all.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
That's not on the agenda. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
By Himmel,
Second.
second by Edmonds. Anybody opposed? Nobody is. All right.